I'd like to welcome and thank the executive team for being a part of this critical meeting regarding the future of our company's technology department and the negative impact on the company's balance sheet and its position in the marketplace if we fail to act on the following analysis and the recommendations that will be shortly presented. SMG Logistics is experiencing high growth, and our internal data centers have hit capacity. What this means is that we cannot continue to serve our customers' need for real-time data for the services they're purchasing from us. In short, this would put us in a severe disadvantage. However, the purpose of this meeting is for myself to prove to the board that we have a solution to our predicament. And this solution is a move to cloud-based solution rather than trying to expand our current infrastructure, which would put a big hole in our top and bottom lines. So what is the cloud? Well, in short, the cloud really refers to the creation of remote servers all over the world or within the nation. But the true benefits of the cloud is that it's basic virtual machines or a replication of our infrastructure without physically maintaining the servers and telecommunications and everything else that goes along with our current IT team. In short, it's almost like purchasing a utility or an electricity. We don't have a hydro or electrical fields in our buildings. We just purchase electricity as we need to go. The great features of the cloud, one is that cloud computing shifts the IT budgets to a pure operating expense model, whereas the traditional on-premise computing model requires both capital and expense allocations. Clearly, for our accounting team, they'll be pleased that as an operating expense model, this has favorable tax implications. The basic capabilities of the cloud. The essential characteristics are broad network access through our smartphones, rapid elasticity where we can expand the need or decrease as we see fit. And because that's the way it's measured service, and it ties into an on self-service, which basically means that we pay as we go. The main three service models to the cloud is SaaS or software as a service, and PaaS or platform as a service, and finally infrastructure as a service or IaaS. Some of the advantages would be the cost savings by renting our replication of our infrastructure. The speed of delivery also is very important, because if we need to replicate something, if at a physical level, we would take a very long time. Whereas with the cloud, it's very fast in a matter of only a few weeks, or sometimes even shorter. Scalability we touched on. It's basically a gauge of up and down as we need to see demand. It frees up our employees. Our sales force can be more mobile, and instead of having being chained to the office. And although our staff currently in IT department is qualified, the cloud providers, IT people are very, very qualified and have them in numerous numbers, whereas us being in the transportation industry have very limited access to tech-trained individuals. Some of the disadvantages are that some of our providers, if there's a service disruption in the internet, then that would be a very big problem for us. Also, sometimes associated with cloud is security issues, which can relate anywhere from hacking to fraudulent activities, and that would be pretty detrimental for SMG Logistics, who collects information of high net worth clients. If there is a service provider crash that extends for a long time, that would be very detrimental to our business and potentially harm us with our reputation. However, a strongly negotiated SLA could at least offset costs with our providers. Our current business requirements is, as we see right here, a very large amount of computing power that needs to be replicated. And from the numbers we've crunched, we're looking at about 14 million plus to replicate this on site. The methodology we're going to show you on how we've come to these numbers is we've utilized tools such as the total cost of ownership, and we've looked at one-time expenses and recurring expenses. And as a result, we'll move to a recommendation as to what we think the executive team should do. Our total cost of ownership calculator shows us that replicating this physically would cost $14,057,000. However, if we move to a cloud provider, we can initial savings before one-time expenses is $9,300,000, a staggering number. One-time costs that are not covered into the TCO are severances for our IT personnel, which is $1.5 million. Voiding real estate leases as we get rid of buildings, that's $1.2 million. And transferring our data over to the cloud, it would cost us a charge of $1.6 million. But together, show me the money. A total savings of $5 million by moving to the cloud. Incredible. Now we got to look at, apart from the money, we got to look at some of the strengths and weaknesses and what else is, and what other opportunities moving to the cloud affords us. Taking into account our strengths, our weaknesses, and threats, the opportunities that our producers, we can grow globally at an accelerated clip without having to open new data centers, which would save us even further money. And very importantly is that the cloud allows us for information that will ensure accountability and transparency when service failures occur, and this allows us to produce remedies. So in conclusion, our current situation of being at capacity has demonstrated that we would require $14 million to replicate our current infrastructure. The cloud's capabilities, advantages, and major capital savings is the only solution that meets our needs and puts us at a competitive advantage in the marketplace. More specifically, we recommend that we move to an infrastructure as a service model that we should embody. And SMG Logistics will be able to eliminate the need to maintain our own infrastructure such as data centers, hardware, and telecommunications. The cloud would also provide SMG Logistics with easier access to global growth, foster effective communications of best practices amongst our teams, and finally create visibility to ensure accountability and transparency of service failures to produce solutions. Finally, taking into account all those soft gains, SMG will gain over $5 million for its migration. So therefore, I encourage the executive team to make the switch.